Haven't made a video in a while, and I decided to make the hands of the day. And because I played a lot of hands against the same player, and we really got into it, and he was 3-betting me a lot, and I was 4-betting him a lot, and I think he got really tilted, and so he was 3-betting me even more. And he's an NL player coming over. I have some hands on him with MNL. He actually seems like he's a decent winning player at NL, but he's a major fish at Omaha, which I guess I was and still am today, but I don't think I'm as bad as he is currently. That could all change tomorrow, but so today's theme is people getting tilted, 3-betting you a ton, and this is reactions. This doesn't show a lot of the hands that I actually folded, and I would open a lot tighter range so I could 4-bet a higher range, and then they get tilted because they keep getting 4-bet and they don't. And I don't know why he'd get tilted. I mean, he never once got his money in good, but he didn't really lose too many pots. But so, anyways, this hand is just these are all in sequential order too. You see, I played a pretty long session, and this is standard get it in coin flipping hands, which he wins. So this one wasn't against him, but this is another player that got tilted after I won a $700 pot off him when he called down with the second nuts, including like a 120 big blind river shove where I tank bet it. And so he started 3-betting me, and this is actually the second hand that I 4-bet him after that hand. The first hand he lost by getting his money in absolutely miserably. This time he obviously got his money in coin flipping, but I mean, let's just go back to this. He's calling, I mean, he has 32% equity. He's calling a 4-bet, which he's getting the right odds to call the 4-bet. He needs to be 27% equity, or 33% equity, and he's 32. That's pretty close. To flop, so he's getting 46% equity. Because, I mean, I'm not jamming every flop just because it's a 4-bet pot. That's a common misconception. There's a lot of boards that I might be getting rid of, like all club boards, for example. I'm not going to be shoving those boards. All diamonds, which he's going to get me to showdown because he doesn't have diamonds either. It's just calling with dominated hands. Avoid doing it. Avoid 3-betting hands that are easily dominated. King, Jack, 10, 4, double suited. It looks beautiful. It's not. This hand. So Zen, alright, both of us played this hand pretty poorly in my opinion. His, I can see why he called the flop bet, so I bet the flop. I can see why he called. He needs to be 29%. He's not, but I mean, it's going to set up a lot of good turn situations where if I'm going to bet every street, he's going to probably get paid off. Because, however, if I don't pick up a spade draw on this turn, I shut down. So a lot of those cards that he gets, he's going to get the showdown, which is also another reasoning for him going with that. But I still don't like it. I mean, as much, just because I'm barreling. He's still 33%, and I'm probably never check folding any card that helps him out. Maybe a queen, which doesn't help him out. Never mind. A 10. None of those cards am I check folding. I'm probably check shoving them. And that's just the way that's going to happen. But as it was, I picked up a spade draw, so I continued barreling, which I do obviously. And I bet full pot. He's getting exactly the odds that he needs to. And now the river comes, and I actually really put him on a king here, and a king queen jack type hand, king queen 4-5. All those types of hands. King, queen, 4-5 is a little bit far-fetched because I think with the gut shot and the pair, he gets it in on the flop. But like he had a king with kickers is what I was thinking. Trashy at best kickers. And so I jammed the river, which I don't like because he's never calling with worse, but he's gonna call. He's gonna have a better a lot of the time, as he ends up showing up with the backdoor straight draw, which his play makes some sense, and I understand why he did it. It's like I don't know, but overall, it's not a positive EV play because he was 33%. He's still calling this off if, say, the 10 of spades comes off. If a spade comes off, that improves his hand. He's still calling it off on the river, but then I'm not good, but then he's not good. And there's a lot more of those cards for me than there are for him. So he got kind of lucky here, and I ship, which I'm not a big fan of. I should have check called or check folded. I don't think he ever bets as a bluff very often when I'm going to be getting 4-1 on a call. But he's never calling with a worse one-pair hand. So my bet is pretty miserable, and his is slightly below break even too. I think that his play was negative EV though, more so than up until the river. His play was much more negative EV, and then on the river mine I think it was really negative EV, but not a big deal. And that was just kind of to set up the future. And then this hand was played shortly after. Looks like about 5 minutes afterwards on a different table. and I felt like he was probably going to be going with any pair. I think he was feeling his oats. There's another hand that we played in here that I'm not showing for some reason, that he got stacked before this hand, but I just, like, this is a spot where I knew he was going to be going with any pair. He ended up having, maybe not any pair, maybe like a pair and a straight draw, like he's going to be going with. He ended up flopping a straight, which is pretty awesome for him, but not good enough. It's another one of those spots where you're 3-betting relentlessly. You get 4-bet and decide to call off more than half your stack, which he is getting just below what he needs to be getting right here. As we back this up, pause. He needs to be 33%. He's actually 35, so he's getting just above what he needs to call. And you're still calling off more than half your stack to hopefully get to a coin flip situation. Is basically what your best case scenario. Yeah, you could flop like trip queens. And I can't say that I'd really jam a lot of trip board paint cards, to be honest, but if he hit trip threes, I know I'd be jamming that one. But he's also going to call it off a lot of times when he has just a pair of threes, just a pair of queens, just a pair, like, just one pair, and then he's getting his money in considerably worse. If he hits a flush draw, which in this case, most times he'd probably be live. In this case, he's crushed if he has a flush draw. But, I don't know, just not a very solid play in my opinion. The important part is, though, is that he did get there, so I think that if we went by those ideas, I think it's really important to know who's running bad, because if they're running bad, then you're going to be able to get suck out on them a lot. I think that's what he's going for here. Here, calling a 3-bet in the small blind with King 8-7-7 double suited, not a good play. I just like to first point that out. We do end up getting this in, flipping coins. I kind of put him on a straight, actually, ironically, when I did jam. I just felt like if he had a 10, he'd be most likely to donk that flop. I don't think he's much of a check raiser. He's kind of a pot mash, let's get this in type. And so we ended up getting it in, and I was like 49% equity and hit it with one pull. And then that's when the wheels really came off of him. And this is kind of a cooler. If I have the aces that I'm supposed to have here, then he is in really good shape. If I have the ace high, and which I do have here, then he's absolutely crushed. And I actually thought a while about before jamming this flop, just because not that long, but I hit my time bank and I was like thinking about it, and I just like trying to find of any hands that he could possibly have that would have me absolutely smoked. And then I thought about it a little second. I was like, why am I even thinking about this? This guy's a complete fish. And so, as we see, ta-da! This is a pretty cool hand, which has already been posted, but so those are the fun hands of the day. That's all of them. And there's greatest poker player ever to live, Stu Younger.